I've been itching to get my hands on these, the QCY Melobuds N60. One of QCY's recent Gen TWS earbuds. The promise is the same, super impressive sound performance plus great build quality at half, if not quarter the price of your typical in-ear buds. Let's see if they nailed that promise. So starting off with the design, the N60 carries on with QCY's now very familiar design language. Same design you get on buds like the Melobuds Pro or the Earlybuds Pro Plus. So a glossy side panel paired to a matte body for a two-tone finish. It's eye-catching by all standards. I especially like this shade of glossy, not too in your face, but shiny enough to get your attention and in a good way. Somehow, these look chunkier than my Melobuds Pro. Still not as chunky as the Melobuds N50 in my eyes, so not bad. Overall, solid looking buds. The top cover of the carry case has a similar style glossy finish. Won't say I'm the biggest fan of this design, but I'm sure some people will like it. The case by themselves feel very solid. They open and close with a premium tongue. And I think this is the first QCY bud with a carry case that feels this good in hand. Now, as far as fit and comfortability goes, QCY makes in-ear buds with good enough fit for most ear types, and these are no exception. The fit is snug and secure, and bar the occasional tug every now and then when I had them in ear for extended periods, you have no issue keeping them in place in whatever setting. Here's me using them out on the walk, in the park. Eventually I start to jog and run a bit, and they're still sitting in very nicely. I'll give them a 6/10 in the comfort rating. These buds are large and they feel large in ear. Put them in and you immediately feel them pushing against your ear. It's not so bad, and I didn't really experience any out of place ear fatigue even after long usage times, but they're certainly not the most comfortable buds to have on. Certainly not more comfortable than the One More Q21 or any of the open earbuds I've tested recently. So out of the box, the N60 comes with support for high-res LDAC audio, active noise cancellation. It has an IP-X5 rating for water resistance. It has touch controls, proximity sensing, and Bluetooth 6.0. Pretty much the standard QCY feature list, with the difference being improved Bluetooth, that's Bluetooth 6.0, and ANC that's now rated for up to 56 dB noise cancelling. They've also added support for fast pair technology, which is something I really liked on buds like the CMF Buds 2A and Sound Quality 5. So it's a nice touch, and it just makes connecting to and using these buds way more intuitive. High-res LDAC audio delivers super crisp audio at 990 kilobytes per second on compatible devices, and that has a sizable impact on sound quality, but more on that soon. The touch controls on these are quite sensitive and accurate, probably the best I've tested so far on a QCY bud. It's nothing particularly fancy, but it works great, and it works 99% of the time. There's a menu in the app to customize the recognized inputs, that's long press, double tap, and triple tap to your preferred actions. QCY always lists proximity sensing on the spec sheet of most of their buds, but I never really got to see them work. True for the Melobuds Pro and the Melobuds N50. On these, however, it works like charm, which was refreshing to see. So you put it in here and it resumes playback, and when you take it out, it pauses the playback. Now, is there a discernible improvement in ANC performance on the N60 given its better ANC rating? Well, yeah, it's ever so slight an improvement, but you can definitely tell this does a better job of blocking out noise than, say, the Melobuds Pro, which have a 50 dB rating. Here's me using them in my living room with the TV playing out sound through my home theater at about 60% volume. And basically none of the TV sound passed through. At 70 to 80%, the background noise begins to break through the filter. Here's me again outdoors in the park with some light wind going on and about. At this point, I was pretty much isolated from whatever background noise was going on around me. Being IPX5 rated means this was designed to handle contact with small volumes of water, so light rain showers, sweat from an intense workout, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't take them swimming, of course, but they very well survived my intense breathing test without any issues. Now on to the sound quality. I've always been a fan of the sound performance on in-ear buds from QCY, so I came into this with high expectations, especially since these were supposed to be an improvement over the Melobuds N50 and Melobuds Pro. Overall, I would say there's an improvement. Where you feel it most is in the bass. It's deeper and punchier, and even at very high or low volumes, there's little to any distortion. Impressively, this maintains high fidelity across all volume levels for all frequency ranges, not just the bass. So even the trebles, the mids, everything sounds extra crisp at whatever volume. The improved bass performance tips the soundstage to being bass biased, I think. It's still not to the level that bass begins to dilute everything else, but it's enough to notice that bass takes precedence over pretty much everything else. Naturally, this means these buds will do well with hip hop, pop, and piano type of songs. Listen to Timeless by The Weeknd and you can hear the bass drop come off with even more oomph. Clarity and surround sound are still top notch, probably a bit better than what you get on the Melobuds N50. With most QCY buds, you're getting very good surround sound with super incredible spatial distribution. That's pretty much unrivaled at this price point. Only one more has something that's comparable in my opinion. So outdoors and the park with the Melobuds N60 in here, and perfect place to do a test for the mic. So mic check 1 2 1 2, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Melobuds is a nice buds. What do you guys think? Does it sound nice? QCY usually makes buds with very decent mics. In fact, I don't think personally think all the buds, all the cheap buds that ship out of China have a similar mic configuration because it's usually not very hard, not easy to tell any difference between the mic quality among cheap China buds in the same price range. So the Melobuds N50 for the Melobuds N50 the mics are great, so I think these will be very good too. Battery life. On a full charge, you can listen to music on a stretch for up to 5 hours, which is very good for a board at this price and form factor. On standby, you'd expect these to stay on and connected for upwards of 24 hours. In my test, I was able to squeeze out 48 hours of on time with these buds on standby, but those were on days I used them minimally. The carry case on its parts houses a 490 milliamp hour battery that can deliver up to 4 0 to 100 charge cycles to the buds. So a full charge of both the buds and the carry case can easily take you 3 to 4 days of on time if you are using them casually. So to sum it up, what's good? Good design, great ANC, good battery life, great sound quality. What's bad? Comfortability. Not the most comfortable buds out there, all things considered. A bit chunky, so they sort of fill up your ear. You get noticeable ear fatigue if these stay on for long enough. Now, all that said, should you buy the Melobuds N60? Tough decision for me because on the one hand, the N60 is an obvious upgrade over buds like the N50 or the Melobuds Pro. Slightly better sound quality, significant quality of life improvements with the fast pair technology, and maybe better battery on some days. But are these improvements enough? The thing is, I would have loved if there was a cosmetic upgrade as well. The design on the N60 is so 2008 if you ask me. I mean, it's the same stuff on the Melobuds Pro, the Melobuds N50, and the Early Buds Pro Plus. It would have been refreshing to see a slight makeover, but hey, white chain was not broken, right? Yeah, the design is not broken. Matter of fact, it's a design language I love. And since these boards cost just a slight $8 or so more than their predecessor, and you're getting better audio, better ANC, probably better battery life and quality of life improvements, I'll say yeah, you're better off getting them instead of the N50. The extra money you're paying is definitely worth the extra upgrades you're getting.